Hello and welcome everyone to the Difference Makers Show, sponsored by Difference Makers Media. I'm Lynn Sanders and I want to thank you all for tuning in. It's so great to have you here. Let me ask you a question. Have any of you ever faced chronic, severe physical conditions and you just don't seem to get better? What can you do? You can learn today from Dr. Jill Briska, an Illinois chiropractor from Kintsugi Wellness, who has a very special story to share. You see, she herself faced chronic, severe conditions and discovered a unique method of healing that made a profound influence and literally saved her life. In fact, I feel that all of us can benefit from learning her story. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Jill Briska. Welcome, Jill.
Everybody. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever.
Yes, it's so good having you here. Thank you for tuning in, Jill.
Thank you for having me.
I have told you this before, but I want to say it again to all viewers that, we all carry energy within us. And when I first saw Jill Briscoe's picture on an ad in a magazine, I was immediately drawn to her because she has such positive energy, which I think you all can feel.
Oh my gosh,
So,
Lynn, right back at you. You have
thank
wonderful
you.
energy.
Thank you. So I'd like you to tell us your story, if you can condense it, of what happened to you and then how you got healed.
All right. Well, I suffered, as you said, with chronic illnesses for many years. And amongst the illnesses, I had food allergies. And so my face would swell every time I ate something. It would, my throat might close up if I smelled something, or if something touched me, it might cause a reaction. And this is despite the lab test coming back that there was no significant allergies. So, of course, I made lifestyle changes. I was down to 3 to 5 foods at one point. No coffee, no alcohol, no fun, no. I was getting detoxifications going from doctor to doctor and just not getting any answers. When I went to my general practitioner, she basically told me that I was getting old and I was depressed.
Oh, no.
And so you know, and looking at myself, I did look like Quasimodo on a bad hair day, but that's depressing. But I wasn't depressed; I was sick, and there's a difference. So when she said that she wanted to put me on a statin and an antidepressant, I basically ran out the door, got to my car, had a good cry, and just was like, I'm going to figure this out. And so that started my journey, and it was very frustrating. It was long, and it was very expensive. But eventually, it led me to Cyberscan, and Cyberscan just really it changed my life. I really feel that it saved my life.
Well, I've never heard of Cyberscan before, and I would imagine most people listening have never heard of it.
No.
So, can you tell us what exactly is Cyberscan? How does it work, and how did it help you?
Well, Cyberscan falls under the umbrella of energy medicine. It's based on quantum physics and the work of Nikola Tesla. It's the science that's going to bring us driverless cars. And if driverless cars, you don't think that's our future, let me remind you, 100 years ago, we had horseless carriages, and there were people saying, "Well, that's never going to go anywhere." So it is coming, and energy medicine is something that is cutting edge technology. So, but it's what I use with my patients when they have these chronic illnesses and just can't figure out what's going on. What it does is it looks for the decrease in frequency at the cellular level. So if there's a decrease in the frequency in the cellular level, at the cellular level, there's a decrease in communication, because that's how they communicate. Before a hormone is excreted or blood pressure goes up, any process at the cellular level, those they're talking, and so if there's a decrease in that communication, there's going to be a decrease in functioning, and eventually there's going to be a decrease in your health. So basically, it comes down to someone sending in me a sample. It can be saliva, hair, or I work with pets, and they can send in fur. Uh, it's scanned and compared to a database of 140,000 different things. So we look for the big decrease in the frequency. And so by taking care of the big decrease in frequencies, some of those secondary or tertiary things can fall away. But the treatment is simply wearing a card. The card is downloaded with those balancing frequencies that are needed, and you wear that for 24/7 for 2 weeks, and slowly over the 2 weeks, those frequencies are rebalanced. So there's no additional food to buy, there's no additional supplements to buy. You just wear the card. I love it because I mean it's objective. It's not subjective. It's computer program, so it takes kind of your opinion or things out of it. There's that objectiveness really is impressive to me.
I didn't ask you ahead of time. Would you happen to have a sample card to show us around? I totally forgot to ask you.
I don't have it on hand, but it's basically the size of a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
I should have brought one for the interview, but for our talk. But it's just real small. I mean, you just wear it around your body. You could wear it on a little, cord around your neck. You could stick it in your pocket. It really doesn't matter because it covers everything.
So the energy from the card, can you explain a little bit more of how this works? Because I'm very open, as you know, to holistic healing. My husband's a holistic dentist. We're all involved with holistic health. But I think it could sound a little woo-woo to different people who've never heard of anything like this.
Yeah.
Can you explain exactly what do you do? Let's say I'm living in California, because you told me you can work with people outside of Illinois.
Yes.
How would you work with someone? They would put some saliva on a piece of paper or give you a strand of hair? Take us through that process for me.
Through the mail, it's very easy just to send in a little hair sample.
Mm-hmm.
We could do saliva, and there's ways to do that I'm looking into. But through the mail, it's just you put it in a little baggie, put it in a little Ziploc and send it out. But those frequencies, it doesn't matter. You could be in the office, you could physically touch it. On the frequency and vibration level, it is all the same. And I am working actually more and more with people in different states because I can mail them their card. And it's convenient for them that you don't have to leave your house. You just send that in. But yes, it does seem woo-woo, doesn't it? But it's the future.
I see. So what you're saying is that this hair strand would be vibrating energetically.
Yes.
To simplify it, and then you have a machine that would analyze those frequencies and balance them out and put those frequencies onto like a digital type of card of some physical card. Mm-hmm. And then they can put it in their pocket or whatever it might be.
Pocket. And what I love about it too is it's very gentle, because sometimes if you do a detoxification or you change something, you start taking a new medication or you do something, it will kind of rock your world. It's you get it's called a Hertz reaction, or you just feel worse before you get better. This doesn't happen. It's very gentle over the 2 weeks that those frequencies rebalance. It's also really good for people that are just wanting a heads up. They're feeling fine, but just gives you it gives you a heads up that where the potential problems are.
Are there some people who should not use this system?
Right. One is somebody that is currently doing chemotherapy. Another is if you are taking any cannabis products, and that includes CBD oil, which I'm not opposed to CBD oil. I think it's a great thing, but it changes your frequency. So if you're doing the card, you're taking, if you're wearing the card, you don't want to take those kind of things. And also caffeine, and caffeine will also change your frequency. So you want to get a good decaf coffee.
That's fascinating.
For 2 weeks.
So tell us, we only have a little time today, but I'd like to hear, what are your tips in staying healthy? You look very healthy right now too. I'd like to know your inner secrets.
I really do say the Cyberscan, like I said, really did change my life because I couldn't eat, and when I found it, I knew that there was something to energy medicine, but what I was doing was taking one thing at a time. This is like energy medicine on steroids, because you can do 140 things on one card. And it's easy. Easy is better as far as I'm concerned. But some health tips that I think are really important would be just simply how we eat is really important. On the Cyberscan, often I will find one of the most common findings is a decrease in the digestive system. The digestive system is everything. It is your immune system. It's 80% of your immune system. It is 70% of your serotonin, which is your feel-good chemical, and it's also your melatonin. Your melatonin is produced there too. So it's your sleep cycles. So it's really imperative that you treat your gut well. And I have a rule of thumb of 80% of the time, eat good nutritional, non-processed foods. But that other 20% of the time, you got to take care of that emotional side of things, and that is, have the piece of pie with your friends. Your grandma makes you pie, have a slice. Go out for a beer with your buddy after golf, or those kind of things that help your emotional to make life kind of worthwhile.
Sure.
And then that in those times, know that your body has this innate intelligence to know how to take what it needs from that food and process it. Also, shame and guilt have a very low vibration, low frequency. So, just don't do it yourself. Have the pie, enjoy it, and then tomorrow, eat something good for your body.
I love that.
And the second thing is a vibration, or a concept in energy is what you think, you feel, and what you feel, you vibrate, and what you vibrate, you create. So what you think, you feel, and what you feel, you vibrate, and what you vibrate, you create. And that is something that we can apply to all aspects of our life, meaning your relationships and your career, things like that. But for our talk today, it's your health. Everything comes down to the vibration.
I was going to ask you for a special message you want to leave before we direct everyone to your website. And I think that is so powerful, what you just said several times. What you think, you feel, and what you feel, you vibrate, and what you vibrate, you create. That would be a great message to get out into the world for everybody, because we're all affected, whether we realize it or not, by the vibrations that we are facing every single day, whether it's personally or in the media or all around us. Yes. So we need more of those positive vibes, and that's why I'm so glad to have you here to share them. So tell us how. Go ahead.
I do think that people kind of really know deep down inside of them how much their emotions affect their health. And so, that concept is something that is a truism that now science is reflecting. So it's gone out of the woo-woo into quantum physics, where it shows how it correlates, that vibration of the cells and what your emotions do and things like that. So what I'd like to leave for the listeners today is, on my website, I have a assessment. It's called the Triad of Health Assessment. And if you think of your health as a triangle, and each side is an aspect of health, meaning you have one side is physical, like your structural. Another side is your chemical, what's chemically, or what you put in your body, and then emotionally. And each side is equally important. Not, one side is not more important than the other. And in our society, or our, the way we do things around here in this part of the world, we don't really pay attention to that emotional aspect. So, but on the assessment, it will show you, or ask you a series of questions to look at, and it'll show, where are you balanced? Do you need help being balanced? And how can you balance or keep that balance? So that's on the website.
Great. Thank you. And just so everyone knows how to find Jill's website, I put it up on the heading of this interview. Meet Dr. Jill Briska of Kintsugi, KNTSUGI-wellness.com. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Good. So I would recommend everyone check out the website, because you're going to learn a lot, and you'll be able to get a free assessment from Dr. Jill and be able to improve your health. So without further ado, I want to just thank you again, Jill. This was a really informative interview.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much for having me on today.
It was great, and we're all fortunate to get to know you. And I hope everyone listens well to this interview and feels free to share it with your friends or family or colleagues who may be concerned about some physical issues, because it doesn't matter where you live, you can learn from Jill Briska. Thank you, Jill.
Thanks, Lynn.
Have a great day, everyone, and keep on making a positive difference. Everyone matters. You matter, and we are really glad that you tuned in. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.